morning. You are watching QTV this morning. We're back on another edition of the program here on QTV, on our studios along Kairaba Avenue. And of course, on the program today, we'll be, looking at the African proverb, but of course the newspaper review as usual. And I hope my makeup it's not showing too much today. I mean,
just let me look. No, you're perfectly fine. You're okay.
It's news to people when you tell them. I mean, we do makeup before we go on television. You understand? But it was surprising yesterday when I put it up on my status, and people were wondering what was Balde doing. Like, I mean, what is happening here? Lolly.
Yeah, it's interesting. They wouldn't know, and it would be like strange to them to know that you do makeup, because what they would think is women only do makeup. So, but for TV, men also do makeup, and Balde's makeup is so perfect today.
Absolutely. Te dina la waxal dara, dina la surprise. Xam nga ne tay man mako defal suma bop.
Dédé kay.
Tay man ma jël brosse bi jël xawma foundation la jëlam xawma powder. Ma jël rek dooral suma bop pour mu em.
No, you're professional.
Wow, we move. Elijah, are we not going to have coffee on our desk? Please bring the coffee. I mean,
we need the coffee on the desk.
Bring it on the desk. I mean, I would come over, Elijah. Come bring the coffee here. Yeah. Sometimes send recipe of the net. Lori, how was your yesterday?
Alhamdulillah, it was okay. I was with the Gambia Red Cross Society. We went out to visit victims, the flooded victims. They received car support, and they also met partners, so they briefed them on how the support was given. So it was a long and hectic day, but alhamdulillah, I was able to complete my mission.
Yes, the Gambia Red Cross Society, they are doing a wonderful job in this country when it comes to relief. They've been involved in a lot of things. When you look at the recent floodings that happened in the Gambia, I mean, they've played a very significant role, in trying to mitigate, the disaster. So, well, thumbs up to them.
Yeah, they're definitely doing great.
Absolutely. Yes, so, like I said, we'll be connecting to the National Assembly. As you know, deputies are about to sit to debate on the death of the 70 children as a result of the AKI in the Gambia. So, we'll be connecting to the National Assembly any moment from now. But until then, we will still proceed with our normal program. I know the sitting will interrupt some of the, the lineup of programs that we used to have here.
Sure.
But today, we will just connect to the National Assembly. But first, we'll be doing the newspaper review. And our newspaper review guest is already here. He almost forgot he's supposed to be on the set. Yes, what happened to Ansumana
What were you thinking?
Good morning to both of you. And good morning to our audience out there.
Elijah, can you bring that coffee here?
Actually, I was doing some little work. And totally forgot that I was supposed to be on set.
What is happening to you? Because I met up with you at the corridor this morning. I reminded you that you were supposed to be on the program. Less than 5 minutes, you forgot. What is happening?
But you know how it works out here.
To your NCP health?
We are always busy.
He's getting old. You're just getting old.
Let me just use this word that what did you say? What is wrong to mine?
Your NCP Helen.
You got that from Bassa again, right? Well, it's always good to be here. I'm good to be here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, good to have you.
Really good to be here.
Exactly. Lolly, what is happening between you and Esho? I can see Esho, it's a big trouble to you.
No, we divorced.
Oh, you divorced?
Yes, I am back to Asmao now.
And Sumana, all right, today I'm not going to call.
I left Ajibintu, I am back to Asmao.
You're back to Asmao?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. No complaints.
That's what happened for them. These people they don't buy.
Why not buy Asmao?
Hey, Balde, let me tell you one secret about
this. Because
boy.
they were like coaxing me with food every morning, herself and Ajibintu. So at some point I had a change of mind, but then they stopped giving me breakfast. So I'm going back to Asma.
We'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll go to the African proverb and the newspaper review. We'll be back.
Spas Motors is the largest and most modern auto service in the Gambia. Spas Motors is the only authorized dealer in Sherry. Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz buses, Kia, Ford, Futon Mini and Midi buses, Futon trucks. At Espas Motors, we have qualified professionals who use modern technology to diagnose and repair all brands of motor vehicles. Espas Motor services include auto sales, auto repairs, vehicle painting, availability of high-quality spare parts, towing services. We are reachable at any time. Call Espas Motors on 352222 353-4444 or locate us on the Bertel-Harding Highway. Espas Motors.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection.
We're back again on QTV this morning, and of course on the program, as I said, we'll be looking at the African proverb. As you know, it is a tradition on this platform to discuss what the proverb means, and Lolly, I'll allow you to read that out for us.
So the proverb reads, if you offend, ask for a pardon. If offended, forgive.
If you offend, ask for a pardon, and if offended, forgive. You know, sometimes people will tell you, I can forgive, but I cannot forget.
Sure.
You know, I don't understand the rationality behind that. I can forgive, but I cannot forget. You understand? To me, if you don't forget, it will always instigate, you know, that feeling of not forgiving again, because we are human, you know. So what do you make of this?
I think it's self-explanatory, quite clear. I mean, this is one of those proverbs that you can literally interpret, like just with a literal meaning, and it gives you a sense of what, you know, it really means. I mean, this is something we talk about in society like every day. You know, if you offend,
just lay low and said, I'm sorry,
you have to admit and apologize. You know, so yeah, and if someone comes to you and say, you know what, I'm sorry I offended you, you should be able to forgive.
And move on.
Yeah, and move on.
All right, Lolly.
Oh yes, as he said, self-explanatory. If you feel offended, just when they've said, I'm sorry, just accept and move on.
Yeah,
need to go back.
You know, I know sometimes it's difficult to forget when you're hurt, when people do certain things to you. I mean, it's human nature anyway. But we must always endeavor to forgive and forget whenever we feel offended. So yeah, I think it's one with deep meaning and so much wisdom.
Some people, they offend you deliberately. You can see Bakari standing here trying to make fun in front of me, and this is live TV. How can I forgive him for this?
Well, you have a lot of followers causing trouble every day out there, but then we always learn to forgive them. So yeah.
Exactly. But at some point, the forgiveness, I mean...
He didn't hear that.
You know, we're talking about... I just tried to turn a blind eye on what you said. As we are talking about forgiveness.
Yes.
But sometimes, before a person forgives, you should be able to come to the individual and tell the person, this is what I've done to you. You understand? But do you think everybody have that courage to come to Eso or come to Lolly or come to me and tell me, Balde, I have done so and so and so. Please forgive me for this.
Okay, my grandfather used to say something, and this reminds me. He would always tell us, if you offend someone, until you go to them and tell them you are sorry, you are not actually sorry. You have to show remorse. You have to admit you've made a mistake. You've made an error in your judgment. You've either done or said something that the other person finds offensive or that is wrong. I mean, it's part of being human. You just have to accept, you know what, I made a mistake, or it's an error of judgment on my part, and I apologize for this. I'm deeply sorry. You have to always admit, and you have to be willing to apologize. You know, I think, like my grandfather would say, until you come to me and say you're sorry and admit your mistake, then you are not sorry.
Well, you know, there are other, like other sorries. You cannot say it. You cannot tell the individual what you
did. But the person, you have to find a way to make the individual know that you are sorry.
Yeah, because it's quite important.
But what
that
about
you
if that is going to cause a lot of chaos?
But Bale, if you, there's nothing like that. If you offend someone and you don't tell them you are sorry, how will they ever know you are sorry?
Well,
they
you
will
know,
never forgive you.
Lolly, there was a time I had a discussion with Imam Jah on Sunyugale.
Yeah.
You know, it was, I think, year before last Ramadan or last year. I asked Imam Jah, I said, okay, Imam, now let's talk about forgiveness. I mean, what is forgiveness? And what is telling a person, I've done this to you, please forgive me? You know, I said, Imam said, you have to come to the person and tell the person that, look, I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
I have done this, please forgive me.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
I said, Imam, is there no back way to please forgive me? Imam said there is no back way.
No back way.
You understand?
Yes.
But I said, Imam, I'll create my own back way for it. Imam said, how are you going to do this? I said, okay, now, if I offend you, Imam, and I come to you, well, Imam, I would like you to forgive me things that you know and things that you don't know that I did to you.
But then you still say, at least you're still telling the person you're sorry.
So you see, that's the back way of asking for forgiveness.
Sometimes we hurt people so badly that it affects their life in some way.
Yeah.
And you know, part of healing, the first step to healing is forgiveness.
Oh, yes.
If maybe what you've done to me is so bad that it's affecting my life, but you wouldn't know because, I mean, you think it's just, you know, just anything normal. So until you tell me you're sorry, in fact, maybe, who knows, from the moment you tell me you're sorry, it helps my healing. I'll start to heal. At least I know, okay, this person, maybe it wasn't deliberate, maybe it was a mistake. But if you don't tell me you're sorry...
And sometimes people can offend people without knowing it, you know.
Exactly.
And you might think it's normal when actually you've offended big time. And when you realize it, just be bold to say, I am sorry. I didn't know it was going to hurt that way.
Well, you see, we underestimate sorry.
Sure, yeah.
Forgive me.
It's so simple to say, yeah. Sometimes we don't even mean it.
Yes. S-O-R-R-Y. It might be 5 letters, but it means a lot. You understand? Yeah. Sorry is to acknowledge, okay, fine, he is guilty. Sorry is to acknowledge, okay,
and you shouldn't say sorry just for the sake of it.
Yes.
It should be something you really mean.
I really
you have to be
genuine. I am not going to do this to you again. I am very sorry. You know, but also the person that we said sorry to should be willing to acknowledge and accept that sorry.
If you are like
sorry for where it is not even necessary, because even talking to somebody, sorry, can I talk to you? You know, we often use this.
If you are like Eliza and Therese. You know, you will not forgive them.
I learned that sorry among women.
When I left them,
sorry among women is nothing.
Really?
If you tell women sorry, no, I'm sorry, I've done this. She will still keep it for you and wait for you at the.
Why are you always at women?
No, I am not against women, but I am telling them some of the attitudes that they have.
Okay, so maybe what you say is some
women. That's
I said some.
Okay.
I said some, not all.
I don't want you.
Some can forgive.
I don't want you to get beaten out there when you go out.
I won't be beaten.
Right.
I know right now some of the feminists are saying, "How malu balde di wax ni?"
Ken hamut.
You know, ken hamut ko. You know.
Well, yeah, but on a serious note, I think it's a very important proverb. It's one that we, can all learn from. I think it's something we need to really work on, all of us. I mean, none of us is impeccable. We are all bound to making mistakes in some way. And every day we get to offend someone.
Oh yes,
but whenever you realize you've made a mistake, you should never hesitate. You should never feel big, or you should never, be ashamed in any way to say you are sorry. It doesn't cost anything to say you are sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely, Lolly.
Oh, yes.
Well, interesting. So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll go straight to the newspaper review. And Ansumana Eso Nyasi, it's our newspaper review guest for today. We'll be back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. We innovate, others follow.
We're back again, and you are watching QTV this morning. We are broadcasting on our studios along the Kariba Avenue, and we are back again. Now, the newspaper review, Lolly, what do we have there?
Yes, I have the foyer with me, and on the front page it reads, MCA Executive Director says last time government-trained pharmacist was 17 years ago. Court asked Mansa Sumaren to open his defense in the diplomatic passport scandal case. UN Gambia office celebrates 70 years of serving humanity. Sarafin Wakan. Police officer testifies in rape case involving minor. Health authorities recalled 22,386 syrups as a result of AKI. Continuation of PDOIS press conference. Halifa dilates on the oil spill Banjul Roads project. 69 plus deaths of babies. Yes, and the executive and the legislature should be guided by technicians. Will the reporter of the health committee be read for the National Assembly sessions today? Those are the headlines on the foyer. And on the point, we have DLEG arrest 7 suspects with cocaine hashish, and deputies to debate deaths of 70 children today. Pay your task, that's GRA. Controversial Wellinger land to remain communal property. Agri Minister calls for youth involvement in farming. Fight against cybercrime in West Africa. ECOWAS and the European Union provide a digital laboratory to the Gambia. Nyamina Ferry resumes services. Those are.
Why you sounding like you're hungry?
Yes, I'm hungry. I have not had breakfast. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
I see.
It's not,
Boy, it's something else.
it's not safe not to take breakfast.
You know,
mean,
divorce doesn't mean no concern.
It's so.
All right?
you need to take
Balde,
breakfast in the
don't-
morning.
All right, but we move on.
Yeah.
We are not sharing the same platform again.
All right, this is the Voice newspaper, and on skyrocketing price, trade committee to present final report of plenary, and of course we have the Gambia Tourism Federation SG calls on stakeholders to redouble efforts in tourism marketing. We also have the National Human Rights Commission chairman warns public to desist from fanning seeds of this unity. And of course, I think that those are the most interesting headlines on the Voice newspaper.
Quite
Yes,
interesting
Molly,
headlines.
what do you want us to start with on
Here,
your papers?
this one really got me here. Like the MCA executive director says last time government trained pharmacists was 70 years ago. And it was only 8 that they trained.
70 years ago.
17
years ago.
Yes, 17 years ago.
Well,
and
I mean,
that was just 8 people. And so,
the last time the government trained pharmacists.
and she disclosed this during their committee meeting when they went to meet the National Assembly Committee on Health.
I mean, I was at this. I covered this committee meeting. I was there, and to be honest, I think I found this to be quite worrying and very disturbing. You know, taking into consideration the important role that the MCA plays within our health sector. They are more like the lifeline of our health sector, because we know that medication is one of the most important pillars, you know, in delivering health, good health services to people. Unfortunately, in Gambia, not only do we lack some of these very, very important facilities, but to have people who are responsible for administering these services not having the requisite training, or
the technical know-how.
The technical know-how in some way. We know that with technology, there's a lot of advancement, taking place in our today's world, and health is now mostly, dictated in some way by technology. Every day you're seeing new discoveries, new things happening. So to have people, like I said, responsible for administering these services, not having the requisite training, I think is somewhat worrying, really.
Definitely.
And I think it's something that the authorities really need to look into. We sat here the other day and we raised concern about the lack of labs, testing labs in this country. That is just one aspect of it. I recall her also saying during that meeting that the MCA have made efforts all these years to engage government on the need to have testing labs in this country. Now that is important, but why is all of this coming now?
Definitely.
After we're faced with a national tragedy? I mean, It's a disaster. I mean, I was at the meeting. They were invited together with the Ministry of Health. The PS was there, as well as the Pharmacy Council. Now, anyway, they did submit most of the documents that were requested by the committee, with the exception of two. I think the guidelines and the list of pharmacies registered in Gambia, and yeah, I think those are the two that were missing. And they promised to have them submitted before the end of the day, which was on Monday. For the Pharmacy Council, they did not submit even a single document that was requested by the National Assembly. And the excuse was that they advanced, was that they did not receive the document that was attached, where you have the list of requested documents. Well,
that was
the committee chairman, I mean, wasn't really happy, and he said,
exactly,
I don't understand how that could have happened, because the letter we sent to you was the same letter we sent to the MCA, and we have all of these things attached. However, since you are here and your office is not far, we want these documents submitted latest tomorrow morning. And I'm sure they must have done that by now.
Well, you know,
but this is important. It really is important.
This is very important. I can understand in a country you can take lightly many things, many other departments. But when you take lightly the health department, we have a problem.
The security.
You understand?
It's basically the lifeline to
everything. Yeah, so it's very serious. This is very serious. I mean, the time I knew this is a very serious matter, we were sitting in this country as citizens of this country, and the whole world was talking about Gambia.
Yeah,
deaths that happened in
all
this country.
over headlines.
You know, in fact, I think the place I received this information was outside. Outsiders we are talking about this. Yeah. Some of them sent it to my phone. What is happening in the Gambia? I was like, what? I mean, people are dying because of the AKI, and you people are sitting there. We've not had any media house talk about it, a radio's talk about it. That's when it came newly.
Unfortunately,
you understand. So it's very sad. I think our officers should double up.
There is a lot that needs to be done
to handle these things.
There is a lot.
70 children, it's a lot.
Well, for me, I would urge everyone to follow the National Assembly extraordinary session today, from this morning. I'm sure they will commence any moment from now. This is one of the most important sessions this current legislature is going to ever have, because it comes at a time when the whole country is sad. We're all sad. Everyone else, it doesn't matter whether you're in government or out there, we're all sad because what happened, I think, you know, to a large extent could have been avoided. Unfortunately, somebody somewhere didn't do their job, and this is the result. What we were talking 58, then we had 66. It went on to 70. Who knows? Maybe it's even way more than that.
Sure.
And it's quite, I can imagine how parents of some of these victims, you know, what they're going through now. I mean, I watched one of the parents being interviewed, and I mean, he just cried throughout the interview, and it's quite devastating. I mean, whenever my daughter is sick, I go crazy. I can't imagine what those parents who've lost their children are going through, and I think it's a very sad moment. And this is something that, you know, I would want government to treat with utmost seriousness. Whoever is culpable in any way should face the law. This is way too much, and I think it also should serve as a learning curve for all of us, collectively as a people.
Well, I mean,
we need strong institutions, but we need strong regulatory mechanisms in place.
You know, it's important for us to have a strong mechanism in place, but also we need to have people who have the adequate knowledge of what they do. You understand? Sometimes education, it's not only presenting papers, but you also have to get the experience, you have to get the expertise, I mean, to do certain things, you understand? But it's very difficult. I know it's hard to work, especially if you don't have adequate facilities or adequate...
I actually was going to come to that.
It's difficult.
Government should also endeavor.
Yes.
I know, you know, we are not one country that is really, I mean, in terms of resources, very well off compared to other countries. But what government should really endeavor, they should put in so much hard work in this to ensure that those who work at institutions like the MCA, they have all the required, I mean, tools and whatever it is that they need to be able to do their work at their disposal, and you know, quality stuff for that matter. So we avoid, you know, tragedies like this one, because fine, we can blame them to a large extent, but the truth also remains that, I mean, they also lack most of the
resources,
things they need to be able to do their work. We have to also admit that. So for this one, I think all of us collectively, that is why I said people should endeavor to follow the National Assembly proceedings today. It's very important. If your NAM doesn't say anything strong and sensible as far as this issue is concerned, man, watch who you vote for next elections. Because this is something that all of us collectively, be those in government or out of government, should ensure that this doesn't ever happen again in this country. Because who knows? Those kids could have, I mean, when they grow up, who knows? They could be ministers, president, anything in this country. You never know. Sadly, their lives were cut short.
Yeah, we hope and wish that the National Assembly will come out with strong recommendations to ensure that this thing is being addressed. Yeah.
Well, I've seen strong commitment from the Select Committee on Health. They've been really, really very adamant. They've been very, I mean, they've been working really hard. I was with them on Monday and yesterday, and I've seen how much hard work they're putting into this, and I just hope that will also translate into their session today, and that other NAMs as well. I know they're all concerned. In fact, I had the opportunity to interact with some of them yesterday on my way home from Banjul. And yeah, I think they're very much concerned. Well, it's important
we'll listen to what's going to happen at the National Assembly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to treat, I mean, well, that discussion, make sure you do it wisely and put yourself in those parents' shoes. It's important. You know, imagine if this was your child. Imagine if this was your brother, or this was your father, like your brother's child, or your sister's child. How would you feel? Yeah. You know, it's important for you to take this seriously.
And this is not something to politicize or to put under the carpet and play it down. This is serious, and somebody has to go to jail for this. We're talking about 70, who knows, maybe even 70 plus lives of very, very young children, babies for that matter. It's quite disheartening.
Well, I mean...
just another story linked to this is the recall that the ministry is still doing to ensure that these syrups are being recalled from our homes, wherever they are kept. And so far, they have collected 22,386 syrups as a result of the AKI.
What is the mode of collection? I mean, I just want to know. Are they going home to home collecting syrup?
Yes. Right now we have Red Cross volunteers that are going home to home. And I was told just yesterday during my encounter with the Red Cross officials, they have their officials at Basse and LRR to not only recall these AKI syrups, but to also sensitize parents on the dangers or on the effects of these syrups. Because, you know, if you don't know why they're recalling it, it will be very difficult for you to take it from them. But first they try to make sure that they know the reason of taking these syrups from them. Then they will voluntarily go inside and take it out. I think there's another step of doing this thing successfully. And the only constraint they're having is, you know, resource mobilization. But with the help of partners, they can increase until and make sure that every single syrup is collected from a house.
You know, it's a voluntary organization. I mean, it's a non-profit organization. So even those organizations that are subvented would usually struggle.
Definitely.
Talk less of one, you know, that does everything for free. But again, for me, I think we have to commend the Red Cross. They've done a fantastic job, to be honest. Since they started recalling these medicines, these syrups, you know, within a few days, they collected thousands, which is quite commendable. And I hope they would be given all the support and resources they need to be able to complete.
And even with the media
process.
sensitization, media sensitization has also played a key role here, because you know people have been watching televisions, they've been listening to radios, and they get to know about these things, and they're voluntarily.
And I think our colleague Gajaga also did a wonderful report on this record.
Well, you know,
and another thing very interesting was just last week I was with the Ministry of Health, and they were doing this campaign on measles and rubella, the disease outbreak, and you know, parents are reluctant to take these vaccines because of the AKI. And that has really hampered their target, you know, because they target to vaccinate about 341,000 children across the country. But volunteers, public health officials, each place that they approach, you'll see a very low turnout.
Well,
so I mean, thanks to the media coverage that we've been given, sensitization, parents will say, oh, okay.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to emphasize, I mean, the importance of the media cannot be overemphasized.
Definitely.
You see, media plays a very important role, you understand? A country cannot move without a media house, you understand? For people to be independent in a country, there should be, you know, effective...
vibrant media.
Exactly. Yeah. So without that, it won't work. And at the same time, I think the issue of that
measles,
you're talking about.
The disease,
well, I think it came at a very critical time.
No, it came at a very
when people are,
it wasn't
when people are having this vaccine hesitancy,
but
you know, the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, and of course, also, I mean, the AKI. So,
and even the public health officials themselves will tell you that, you know, we're having a big problem because parents, you know, are not accepting this to
in Gambia,
because they are scared of the AKI. They will tell you.
No, I can understand that. In Gambia, I mean, if you vaccine campaigns have always been very successful in Gambia, compared to other countries within the sub-region. In fact, you know, many times, you know, health officials would always start with Gambia when they're piloting some of these projects. But again, these vaccine campaigns rather. But again, you have to understand that this one coincided with this very unfortunate incident.
Like seriously.
Everyone is scared. Every parent in this country is scared. So you cannot blame people. But what we can do is to make them understand that these measles vaccines are safe.
Definitely.
And this has nothing to do with the AKI that we are talking about. Of course, if people are scared, we can understand why. It's really a very sad moment. And like I said, every parent is scared. Whether you say it or not, we're all scared, you know. So I can imagine why they are really hesitating.
And even the WHO representative in the country and the UNICEF,
yes, I had them emphasizing that.
Emphasize the point that the vaccine is safe. It's, you know, it has nothing to do with the AKI.
Yeah. I don't think people will administer vaccines that are going to cause harm. I mean, we've been living with vaccines for a very long time, since childhood. I remember they will come to our schools and give, you know, administer these injections without even the consent of our parents. You know,
but that's wrong.
But with now they seek consent. You know, they will ask you to go and tell your parents.
I mean, even if you go home and tell your parents that, look, I've been injected at the school, your parents will tell you, oh, that's fine. I mean,
because there was this trust, and we didn't have all these problems at the time. Unfortunately, now, I mean, with what is happening currently, it's, you know, it's difficult.
It's difficult for them.
It's really difficult, and I can understand
so
why they are frustrated, but I can also understand why parents are hesitating.
Yeah, so they're really trying to strengthen their awareness raising, to make sure that parents get to know. So what they do is they will send volunteers ahead of the team that will vaccinate people. So they will get to homes, talk to parents, then the team will also come. So that's another strategy that they're using. Yeah, or else it's going to be a waste of resources, because these vaccines cost money, you know, and the place in manner they kept it is also another thing. Because I've been to Carnifing where they kept these vaccines. It really needs a lot of, you know, equipment and stuff. So people not taking it, it's a waste of resources. So we'll also join the Ministry of Health to call on parents to assure them that the vaccines are safe. My kids have already taken it, because it's going along with other supplements, you know, the deworming tablets, which is very good, and the other supplements. So let parents just accept them.
Absolutely. I mean, I invited one Sambo here on the platform. We're sitting right there. And the issue of the AKI and Sumana, At some point, there's someone, a specialist, sent something on social media. He said his own take. I mean, why the AKI became very serious in the Gambia. You know, at some point, they were improvising some of the fluids that we are supposed to be giving to the children. We don't have it in the Gambia. We don't have it, like it wasn't available at the hospital. But some of the health specialists were trying to improvise that type of a fluid and, you know, giving it to the children. So this guy said that also might contribute, I mean, to the seriousness of the AKI. And when I asked Sambo, you know, he's from WHO, when I asked him, he said, yes, that happened. Wow. You understand?
This is why I'm saying somebody has to go to jail.
Yes, and I said to Sambo, you know, it is very serious to improvise something. I mean, these fluids are only these things are to be done by specialists, people who knows this thing. So we cannot just, okay, fine, there is no paracetamol, I'll give Ansumana maybe chloroquine and,
you know,
and maybe with other tablets to replace paracetamol.
I have no health background, but I, you know, don't think it really makes, I find this to be very disturbing. It's quite scary. I don't think there is any substitute for this. It doesn't make any sense. If you're injecting something into somebody's body, you have to be sure what you're injecting them with. Yeah. It's not a trial. It's not something you try. Let me try and see. No, because if it doesn't work, you're killing somebody.
In health,
whatever you're putting into somebody's, look, if you're injecting anything into somebody's system, you have to know what you're injecting in them. I mean, there's nothing like, okay, I don't have this medication, so let me
no.
What if it doesn't work? I mean, think about the repercussions, think about the damages it's going to cause.
And some people are allergic to some medicines, you know.
If it is something physical, I understand, Lulu, but I mean,
so Lola,
to tell you,
and who knows, maybe the person is allergic to whatever you're injecting in the system.
I mean,
maybe Lulu's I mean, system,
I found it very.
So, what are your paracetamol? Amox, oh no, maybe even chloroquine or some other medication. But I'm not an antidox system. Imagine the damage it could cause.
And you know one thing, it's not only the Gambia that is battling this AKI thing. Indonesia as well.
Yes.
Almost close to 100 children also died of this disease. And the same Indian made in pharmaceuticals, syrups, cause it.
You know, the other day we were discussing this with Mr. Ade here. In 2014, the same company was taken to court in India and stopped from operating. In 2018, they started, operating again, and then they had similar problems, and they were stopped, like the same as what is happening here now. So when they were stopped, what they did was they continued to operate, but they were not selling whatever they were manufacturing within the local markets in India. They were exporting everything to Gambia. Initially, it was Indonesia. Now we see what they're also dealing with. The same problem.
Almost 99 children.
Well, at some point, maybe they might point fingers to the person importing the medicine here. Fine, I have no problem with it. You know, but might be that person have been importing this medicine from the same company for a very long time.
But that still doesn't make it right, because if you just a simple search online, just search the name, just the name, you see the results you get. If you're importing medicine into a country, especially one of that quantity, me and you know, if you're going into business these days with a company outside Gambia, you at least look it up online. You at least do something. You do some little research to see, okay, at least you'll try to convince whoever is buying.
Well, brother, I mean, it's
unfortunately,
Gambia,
sometimes people only think about their own interest.
You know, and this is what happened when the business sector of a country is being polarized by, outsiders. This is what happened. I'm not against outsiders, having businesses in the Gambia or controlling businesses. Yesterday, I had a conversation with someone. He went to buy commodities to sell in his shop. And he said to me, brother, you see, we have a problem in this country. Our business is being overtaken by, outsiders. I don't want to say foreigners. I don't want to use that word. But he said to me, I went to a shop to buy wholesale so that I can come and resell in my shop. But this guy, he doubled this price so that I will not be able to buy it. You know, you understand? So that I won't be able to, because I am a Gambian, so he doubled his own price. So because I know for the wholesale price, the bag of rice is costing this.
Yeah.
But he gave me double price so that I will not be able to buy it.
And he will continue to sell.
And he will continue selling it.
Oh,
you see? So we have a problem. These structures should be put in place. I mean, I think it's important for us to empower our own people. Let us give them a way. You know, sometimes
that has been my point. That has been my point all this while. Because what happened is, if you have a shop and you're an outside, or example, you're a fuller, you're doing business, you have a shop at my end, and I also have a shop at my end. They prefer to go to Balde because he's fuller.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
again,
sometimes that's what happened. So instead of empowering, when you say empower, we don't feel like to empower Gambian brothers or sisters.
No, I mean, Lolly,
we feel we
just to
give
add
it
on to what
at a high
Lolly is
price.
saying, talking about empowering our own people. Now, the truth is, in most instances, we do empower our people. We are our own problem. Nursing problem in Bopa. Look at the health sector. What is happening there? I mean, just you heard what the MCA executive director is saying. The last time these pharmacy owners were trained was 17 years ago. You go through our health sector. Most of these pharmacy owners, those licenses they're using to operate don't even belong to them. And almost 90% of them are foreigners. Most of these big pharmacies here are being run by foreigners.
What?
But who are these people renting out their licenses? Gambians. So we have a problem. We have to look inwards.
We have a problem.
It's not always foreigners, but nursing problem.
We prefer to support ñeneen than suñ own nit ñi.
Well, you know, when you say sometimes Gambians are lazy to work, I mean, we are lazy to work. They complain. They tell you, Gambian be the opportunity.
Hey.
We have opportunities, bro.
Lot of them here.
You know, sometimes you will say, I don't have opportunity in my country, you know. But I mean, if you go outside, you start creating opportunities for yourself. Yeah. It's important for you to create those opportunities here. There was a young man. I said to him, look, I mean, you are coming to, like, you have a family and you are not doing anything. Yeah. You understand? You sit the whole day without nothing. You sit in your house, brew attire, or sometimes you listen to music, you get up, go to the field. You know, you'll be roaming around. You have a family, you have a wife, you have kids. How are you surviving? The guy was...
Big question to ask.
The guy was like, boy, I'm going to have a very problem. I said, no, but it was a problem. At the end of time, your wife needs something. Your wife needs to, I mean, take care of herself. Yeah. Your kids need to go to school. You understand? I said to him, why not? Gis nga suñ Johnson bi ñun bunding oto fuñ dee ñëpp fuñ dee ñoo taxaw xaar moto. Ma ne ko why not nga dem foofu nga ubbi fa a coffee center. Maybe nga def benn toogu fu nit ñi dee toog. Understand? Nga defar ko nga brand ko bem nice. Nga defar benn lifin nga am sa ay coffee, nga am coffee cups, coffee everything. Nga teg because nit ñi dañoo ñëw. Bunding oto is one of the most famous junction in Lamen. If you say Bundingoto, people know the junction. Yeah. So fofu dafa empty. Nini da ñoo taxaw bari fofu. So
now you're giving business ideas.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Ma ngi romba ma gis nit yang fa taxaw. People standing. So legi mané, why not legi nga ñoo defar sa coffee center nga brand ko bem nice. Suba nga juk 6 nga tangal sa ndox ñoo tek. Ñu ñoo xaar moto. Dañoo ñu jëna coffee. Ñu driver dañoo ñoo jëna coffee. Maybe before end of day nga am 500.
In fact, you'll have more than that.
You know what he said to me? He said to me, I mean, Mom, he cannot do that type of a job. This is what he said to me.
Yeah.
It's about mentality.
A foreigner will come and do that.
Yeah.
You understand? And he will pass there and buy coffee from the foreigner and go. Yeah. So we need to change this attitude. Sometimes, like you said, the problem is us.
Yeah.
And foreigners, they know. I mean, this is what is happening in this country. That's why they come. Look at most of the furniture shops that we have in the country.
You know, it's like Obama would say, be the change that you seek. Definitely. It has to start from you.
It has to.
If you want anything to change in this country, it has to start from you.
And at the same time, I'm also appealing to financial institutions. Let them support our own brothers. Let them support our own Gambians. I'm not saying you go give your money to someone whom you know is not reliable, but look at someone who is reliable, a very responsible person. Give the person a better loan to go and empower him or herself.
Yeah, that's true. But again, it comes down to attitude. You have to change your attitude towards work,
commitment,
towards family. but importantly towards country. Sometimes we're always quick to criticize. We always jump, criticize, say stuff. Fine, it's okay to criticize when things are not going right. But what are you doing to change that situation as an individual?
Yes.
It goes beyond just...
Yes, so we'll come back to you. I am told that Mohamed Lamin Choi is on the line from the National Assembly in Banjul.
Yes.
Now let's hear from Mohamed Lamin Choi what is happening currently at the National Assembly. Good morning, Mohamed Lamin Choi.
Good morning, Mr. Balde, and good morning to our viewers. It's a pleasure to join you this morning.
Well, I can see gradually people are taking their seats at the National Assembly, getting ready for the sitting.
Yes, we've almost got the quorum, and the National Assembly members are waiting for the Speaker. It is important to explain why this session today. It is an extraordinary session, meaning it is beyond the normal parliamentary sessions, and it is triggered by a health emergency. It is an emergency situation which has been necessitated by the death of at least 70 children, children who have died as a result of being affected by the acute kidney injuries. So when the acute kidney injury outbreak occurred, leading to the death of dozens of children, we've also seen the executive convening an emergency meeting to discuss government response. So today we have the legislature, which is also a very important arm of government, which is meeting now in an emergency. So extraordinary session is an emergency meeting of National Assembly members. We have been necessitated upon request by some National Assembly members and approval by the Speaker. So in a moment we will see the Speaker who will be arriving in order for its session to start, but we've seen National Assembly members already have assumed their seats. The Minister of Health, flanked by his Director of Health Services and other senior officials of the Ministry of Health are already in. We'll be expecting perhaps questions. We're also expecting motions. We're expecting anything to happen in this extraordinary session, which is highly significant for our country, highly significant for people who have lost their children as a result of the acute kidney injury. Officials of the Medicines Control Agency are also here, which is an institution that is part of the Ministry of Health. So quite a very important session today for the country. National Assembly members who represent constituencies of the whole country will be holding government accountable, holding the executive, especially the Minister of Health accountable on the death of 70 children who have died as a result of the acute kidney injury. So this is what we have seen right now happening, and in a moment the Speaker will enter the chamber.
All right, thank you, Mohamed Lamin Choi. Dañ bëggoon rek nga wax ñu tuuti lu nekk di xew foofu si National Assembly bi foofu si Banjul.
Jërëjëf Mr. Balde, ñu ngi jërëjëfal ñoo xam ne ñoo seetaan ñu ngi ne Banjul te fu nekk ni moo nekk si National Assembly bi. National Assembly bi mooy pencum réew mi. Fii la seen député yi di toog di discuss naka la ñoo defaree loi, naka la ñoo jaaralee réew mi fu mu war a jaar. So soo gisee tey ñu ngi meet in an extraordinary session. Extraordinary session in a sense ne National Assembly dafa am diir bu ñu dee meet. At least am nañ lu mat 4 sessions during the year. So why bi dafa nekk emergency bi lu ko waral mooy ne yéen ñëpp réerélewu leen mbir ne am na lu mat juróom-ñaar fukki xale yu nga xamante ni ñàkk nañ seen bakkan si feebar boobu ñuy ooyee acute kidney injury. So loolu bu mu xewee nag am na ay National Assembly members yu nga xamante ni gars yi dañ jóg ñu binda waa Speaker bi ne ko jar na fu mu nekk nii pour ñu mun a meet parce que lii emergency la c'est naka la ñoo def ba meet ñu discuss ko ñu xool naka la ñoo mun a jaaralee lu ñu war a def. lii bu mu xewee gis nañ ne executive bi jóg na am na emergency meeting président bi ak Ministry of Health and other ministers ñoo xam ne mbit nañ ñu discuss problème bi loo xam ne moo guide government bi si seen response bi so far since bu problème bi ni amee. So lii moo nekk legislature bi nag important arm of government la boo xam ne ñoom tamit am nañ rôle bu ñu play parce que ñoom ñoo dee hold executive accountable. So lii bu mu xewee rek ñoom luñ luñ d'accord mooy ne lii jar na pour ñu mun a dajaloo ñu xool naka la ñu mun a waxtaanee saafowanteeg Ministry of Health ñu xool naka la ñoo mun a at least amee seen own response so nañ fi expect debate dina am nañ fi expect possibly also motion anything daal mun naa happen fii nii mënuñoo predict lan moo war a xew waaye soo gisee ñu nekk in attendance right now Minister of Health bi mu ngi fi gis nañ ko mu ngi si koñ bi ne la moom ak Director of Health Services Dr. Moussa bi tey Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate moo nekk Minister of Health National Assembly members ñu bari ñëw nañ léegi tey speaker bi dugal si lu ñoo xaar rek mooy ñu am quorum National Assembly balaa mu dee toog dafa am numbers yu nga xamante ni ñaata nit ñoo war a toog pour ñu make sure ne session bi start na so loolu lañ nekkoon di xaar ni waaye xam naa léegi tey speaker bi dugal si Medicines Control Agency officials yi tamit ñu ngi fi ak other senior officials of the government ministers also Minister of Interior mu ngi fi mu ngi toog si boori Minister of Health so lii nekk na event bu nga xamante ni dajaloo boo xam ne lu am solo la si réew mi lu am solo la si victims yu nga xamante ni ñoom seen doom yi ñàkkee nañ seen bakkaan si feebar bu ñuy wax acute kidney injury government bi will be held accountable by the legislature so loolu moo nekk di xew fii nii right now Ibrahima Balde.
All right, thank you Maud Lamin Choi. I mean we are expecting positive results at the end of the sitting. xam naa ne moom dinañ dellu si waat si National Assembly bi bu nekkee ñëpp toog nañ ba speaker bi ñëw ñu seet lu nekk di xew foofu am na solo lool so Maud Lamin Choi thank you very much. All right dégg ngeen ko Aliya Moyle. Yes, very very important Lolian Eso Nyasi, any moment from now, everything will kickstart at the National Assembly, and we are expecting positive results at the end of the sitting.
It's like
big time.
It's like he's emphasized what we were saying earlier about the importance of this extraordinary session, but also I, like the fact that, the National Assembly is not taking this lightly. This is what we expect of them. And, like you said, we want to see action at the end of the day. And I think, at the end of this session, I believe something serious will come out of this. It's a national disaster. There's no way you can sugarcoat this. What happened is a disaster, and somebody has to go to jail for this. 70+ lives is way too much. It's way too many. In fact, for us to sugarcoat this or try to brush it under the carpet. Somebody has to go to jail for this. Whoever is found, wanting, they should be held accountable for this. It's sad, like I said, but again, the minister is there. Of course, we expect him to be present as head of the ministry, the MC officials, as well as all those connected to this, very unfortunate national tragedy. So we look forward to some serious action at the end of the day, like I said.
Lonnie, don't you think it's high time now for us to take our health sector very serious? I mean, this is a call for an alarm. Call, so we should take our health sector very serious.
It's even late. These are things should have been in place like a long time ago. We shouldn't have waited until things get worse, then we try to strategize or put our house in order. The house should have been ordered like 100 years ago. Can't just imagine why now? Why Gambia wait for until it gets to the worst, then we try to act? No, this should serve as a wake-up call. The government, as the duty bearer, should ensure that sectors or organizations under their purview are properly checked, are properly managed, and resourced, they are supported, because they will be also limited at some point, they will be constrained. But the government as the duty bearer should make sure that policies, structures are put in place for this ministry, especially Ministry of Health. Because it's a shame that Gambia, we don't have a laboratory to test all these things. This shouldn't have happened. Now it happens. Let's make sure it never happen again. Let them be so serious about this. Let them just not take it like slightly or like, okay, it happened, comparing it to what had happened before. No, justice must be served. These little children, they need justice, because who knows, they might have killed the next president of this country. We cannot just let it go like that. Now that they're doing this emergency meeting, which I suggest it should have happened like weeks ago. So for now, it's happening. I hope and wish that the National Assembly members would not take it slightly, because I'm sure if it's not your daughter, it could have been your cousin or your nephew or whoever, a family member might have been affected. So let us just not politicize this. Let us not be there to just take sides. No. That is my take on this whole thing.
Exactly. So what is MCA if there is no proper labs to test all these medicines in this country? It's useless.
Well, useless. I mean, not actually, because their mandate extends beyond just testing. It involves registering. It involves, you know,
licensing and everything. It involves a lot
performing oversight over how medicines.
But the most important is testing. I mean, you need to test what people consume in this country.
That's important, but it's just one aspect of it. I mean, like I said, their mandate extends beyond just testing. So yeah, it's important. It's really important. But again, well, this for me, like I said, and I'll keep saying it, what happened was very avoidable. Unfortunately, somebody did not do their job, and now we're having to sit as a country to reflect over this very unfortunate incident. For me, Lolly is right. I mean, when the president made that statement, the first statement he made regarding this issue, all of us were disappointed because, you know, it could have been better said. And I think some of those things, the language in that statement really wasn't okay. I'm happy they did try to rectify that with actions that followed the day after. But again, either ways, it's all in the past. What we can do now is to hold accountable those responsible, whoever is responsible, you know, and to also put in very, very strong measures to ensure we do not have to go through anything like this ever again. This is shameful, it's hard, it's disappointing, and somebody has to go to jail for it.
Absolutely.
So just to go back to the mandate of the MCAC.
Exactly. I think before we go there,
the speaker is in.
Yes,
he's already in.
They're about to start.
So Lolly,
business is about to start.
Yes, we'll connect to the National Assembly. It's like the speaker has been seated now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So
well, I'm told they will connect us later. Yes, Lolly, you can.
So just to emphasize the mandate, or on the of the medicine.
Honorable members, may I welcome you all to the third extraordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2022 legislative year. Equally, may I welcome His Excellency, the Vice President, and all honorable ministers here in present to witness this sitting of the Assembly. Honorable members, this sitting is summoned pursuant to Section 98(1)(a)(2) of the 1997 Constitution and Order 11(3)(c) of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, as requested by at least more than 1/4 of the members of the Assembly. Considering the said provisions of the law, as presiding officer, I had no option but to convene a sitting of the Assembly within 7 days of the request so made. Thus, the reason for our Assembly here today. Honorable members, as per order paper, this Assembly is here today to debate over a motion, acute kidney injury, AKI, resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the country. I must state that the incident is quite very unfortunate and concerning to me and indeed to this Honorable Assembly. It is equally disturbing that the AKI revealed an allegation of contaminated drugs in the country, resulting to such disease causing death to children. Honorable members, I want to appreciate and applaud the ongoing work of the Select Committee on Health in performing one of the key functions of this August Assembly, which is oversight since the outbreak of the disease. The committee is already engaging health authorities and relevant actors in the health sector regarding the death and alleged contaminated drugs. I must equally commend government, and in particular the Ministry of Health, for their swift action in raising the alarm both in country and at the international level. That said, honorable members, we must also be reminded that Parliament has its own unique setting and means of handling issues. We therefore expect the Select Committee on Health at the end of this session to do justice in its inquiry and report back to this Assembly for more concrete resolutions and actions. On that note, honorable members, let me once again welcome you all to the sitting of this third extraordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2022 legislative year, and also welcome His Excellency, the Vice President, and all Cabinet Ministers here in present. Honorable members, I do believe a copy of the motion has been circulated to you all. We can now proceed. Clerk, we can now proceed.
Thursday, 6th October 2022.
Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 6th October 2022 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Any honorable member? Honorable member for Upper Newby.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I also move that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Thursday, 6th of October 2022 be corrected and approved. Thank you.
Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Motion seconded.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 6th October 2022 be approved. Honorable members, we can now look at the record of votes and proceedings. As usual, we'll look at it page by page, beginning, of course, with page 1. If honorable members have any observations or comments, omissions. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you. On the present list, I'm captured present. I think I was not around that day. On the present list, I was captured present, and I think I was away. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker. Number 2, Honorable Bileji Tunkara. His name should be deleted. He was not present. It's noted. Any order on page 1?
Yeah.
Deputy Speaker.
1 or page 3? Okay. Okay, when we get to page 3 then.
Okay, page 1. Any more? Latikunda Sabiji.
I just have an observation because this has been happening on and on and on. Members will be absent and their names will not be there and members will be present. I don't know whether it's just a copy and paste process because now it's high time. Oh, I just want to establish, because this has been happening on and on. Members will not be here, but their names will be captured on the present list. I don't know whether it is a copy and paste business in most cases, or because this is not happening on and on and on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that has been noted even well before you said it. And two, we must accept that sometimes it's difficult. I have been told that sometimes the recording is by your digital indication of your presence. And if, for instance, somebody just presses yours, it indicates to them that you are present when you